Hello YouTube, my name's Tag and welcome back to Gyakuten Live. So in the last video, we started with episode 3 and basically what happened in episode 3 now is very good opening scene I have to say with the voice acting, but what happened is a statue at the aquarium got stolen. Yeah, and we're trying to figure out what happened. Basically, this whole thing is full with all the Aqua's characters except Dia. Except the end Ruby. Basically all the of course characters are in this episode for the most part. And the person who's getting blamed for this is you, because the story is that you stole it during her shift when she was supposed to guard the statue. And the blame's being put on her. But she didn't do it, and what happened is that Chica was in the costume, but did she do it? We don't know, and I don't think she did either, so we're trying to figure out what really happened. But now we're at the trial, and that's gonna be interesting because we're doing it in the Orinahoshi, so that's gonna be fun. So yeah, without further ado, let's continue the game, and let's hopefully solve this case. Yeah, so basically, we're doing. It's not gonna be the usual cast of characters in the courtroom today. It's gonna be a bunch of new people in the courtroom. We're going against Maki today. She's gonna be the prosecutor. The judge is gonna be Mari, so that's gonna be cool. Hopefully she doesn't joke a lot. I don't wanna hear that. I've had enough of like ice jokes already from the last episode. I don't need any more jokes from another character. Yeah. What else is there? So yeah, basically what happened so far is you stole the statue because apparently the person who stole the statue was in the mascot's costume, the big walrus thing, and that's you's costume. And it's now obviously it's like, oh, if the walrus stole the statue, it can only be you because you're supposed to be the one in the statue. But you actually wasn't the one in the statue. Chica was not the one in the statue, one in the costume. Chica was the one in the costume, but still, that doesn't really prove that she's the one who stole it either. We actually have no clue who stole it still. Anyway, let's continue. June 26th, 9:38 a.m. Defendant lobby. A new case, a new courthouse. I've been doing all my cases at Nijusaki's courthouse, but this is the first time I'm on a foreign territory. The unfamiliarity weighs a bit heavier on me than I like. Yuchan, this is your first time visiting Uranahoshi, isn't it? Yeah, normally I spend a bit of time taking in the moment after all. This is the schools of a course. Unfortunately, I've got no time for that. I'll have to save the touring for later. Oh, hey, you made it! Oh, it's you. Hi, you, Lawyer-chan. I hope you're all rested up for the trial. I'm fine, thank you. I just hope I don't make a fool out of myself in front of the spectators. Alright, speaking of spectators, Peterson will be watching the trial today. That sure won't put any more pressure on me at all. Oops, I figured I should let you know. Sorry if I freaked you out. Let her know what? That I'm going to be here? Eek, Peterson, you here? Are you going to serve as a witness today? Despite being the first onto the crime scene, I don't really know much about the crime itself. I didn't even consider the possibility that you might have been the thief until much later. That radio call with the drawing pad seems to see more than I did. She'll probably be a fine substitute for me. I'll just watch from the sides and decide what to do with you depending on how the trial goes. Again, I remind that Yusa's shop is on the line, and the tension suddenly increases tenfold. But there's no helping it now. Please do your best for you. Oh, that lady really needs to put some shoes on. By the way, speaking of Riko-san, do you know if Maki ever talked to her? I told Maki to talk to Kanen-chan and Pigeon-san, but I forgot to tell her to talk to Riko-san. I figured Pigeon-san would tell her the same things Riko-chan would have. So it's possible that Maki doesn't know about Riko-san's sketch or the call we made to Chika-san? So, what's the plan, Lawyer-chan? I'm not entirely sure. We don't have any information about other potential culprits aside from you, and Chika-san unless Kanen-san managed to find a clue. I know you didn't want Chika-chan to be involved. I'll try my best not to bring her up if I don't need to. That said, it should still be safe to present evidence relating to Chika-san for the time being. I can just say that I have no idea that Chika-san is involved in the crime itself. Thanks. Sorry for foisting that handicap on you. Well, I guess that's all we can do for now. I think it's about time to go in, right? Once again, thanks for sticking up for me. Break a leg. Yeah. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, June 26th, 10 a.m. Kotu. Why? There's a call. Why? Butler. Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to the drama of a Chi-Chi stealing the statue and stuff. Today, our fabulous defense attorney and prosecutor are gonna square off and show us whether or not you really did take the sculpture. Take a reborn and see paradise. Are you ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. Feel so professional. Yeah, whatever. Is that your butler you brought? You brought it in? You brought your buddy along, and you're going to ask about my butler being here? Oh, that's me! I feel noticed! Well, she's my defense counsel. She's here to help out. Same with Sai, so keep the questions to yourself. Are you sure you didn't just bring her in to look cool? Because I admit, it's kind of working. Sai here has selective mutism. She doesn't speak. Unlike with the defense, I'll be doing all the talking and thinking myself. Sai's just here for support. This feels like... Are they trying to make every character feel like Edgeworth? Because I feel so far like all the prosecutors besides maybe Tia or Edgeworth like behavior. Among other things, you brought her in so she can be a tea vending machine? Bringing in tea is for the help. Tea tastes better when you have someone else preparing it for you. Well, enough of that. I think it's time for the prosecution's opening statement, right? Okay, let's hear it. Yesterday, a sculpture called Tika Tika Reborn went missing from its pedestal at Sea Paradise. Right now, the defendant Watanabe Yu is believed to have stolen the sculpture by the public at large. However, I would like to remind everyone of one thing. The trial is not to determine whether or not the defendant stole the sculpture. It is in reality determined whether or not the defendant is responsible for the crime occurring. She's like the guy from the third Ace Attorney game with the visor thing that drinks coffee a lot. I can't remember his name. Really? Can you explain the difference for me in the court? Mostly the court, of course. The defendant was tasked with guarding the sculpture. If someone else stole the sculpture during the defendant's shift, the defendant is still guilty due to negligence. The main difference is that the defendant will not receive a larceny charge, but is still guilty of allowing the crime to occur. Under those conditions, the verdict should still be guilty. She's already bringing up the technicality regarding Yusan's assigned guard duty. She's leaving us no breathing room. Golly, do you think Maki-chan knows about the fact that Yusan and Chika-san cover her shift? I'm not sure. Prince-chan thinks that Yusan has asked someone from Oda-Noshi to cover for her. But I don't think Maki-san is familiar enough with the course to know that Yusan and Chika-san are best friends with similar proportions. I feel like Kanen-san might have figured it out, but I don't think she would have suggested that to Maki if she didn't have concrete proof. Yusan has requested I not bring Chika-san into the picture. Let's see how long I can keep that up. For now, the prosecution would like to call up a witness to do some of the talking. Prosecution calls the detective Matsura Cannon to the stand. You made your butler flip through the pages? You couldn't do that on your own? Flipping through pages for the help. You expect me to risk getting a paper cut looking for a name? Come on, let's get Cannon in here. Oh boy. Name and occupation? Matsura Cannon. I work at my family's diamond shop, Internet Sea Paradise, and the choreographer for cause and am detective of this case. So, Your Honor, did you have breakfast today? Cornetto a frutti di Pasco mozzarella with good old cappuccino, molto delicioso. Wow, what's this about, Cannon-san? Well, Mari had served as a judge before. It was a pretty small case. Her logic was, because it was a small case, it was okay to walk off the stand in the middle of a trial 45 minutes to get an overpriced croissant and a cup of overpriced coffee. Isn't that right, Mari? Oh boy. Sorry, I can't speak Japanese. Well, whatever. Witness, the prosecution wants you to tell them what you found out of yesterday, and why the suspicion ended up falling on the defendant over anyone else. As long as Mari doesn't walk off again, very well. Great, just lovely. If I don't get like a wacko witness, I get a wacko judge. What was found? Tika Tika Reborn is a small sculpture about 30 centimeters in length, and it was located on a pedestal on Sea Paradise's observation deck when it went missing. It was brought in at 10 a.m. and was found to be missing at 11:15 a.m., so it must have vanished within the interval. Beginning at 10:20 a.m., Watanabe Yu was guarding the entrance to the observation deck and directing patrons away. Yu's shift was to cover most of the interval from 10:20 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. when she was spotted leaving the scene of the crime. Yu was wearing a large mascot costume at the time. It is believed that she snuck the sculpture off the premises inside the costume, and we did find that the Ochichi costume had an empty space inside the chest. Sorry, can you say that again? I missed it. Which part? Let's see. The part starting from as long as Mari doesn't walk off again or something. So basically, you missed all of it? It's joke. I'll sue you, you know. Let's just get on with it. We'll figure out during the cross-examination. Actually, I've got a question, Canon-san. Gigi has no eye holes, right? You said something about mascots usually having someone accompanying them so they know where to go. If Yusan was moving solo, how could she have seen where she was going? Like I said, there seemed to be a small gap where the head meets the body. The waiter could also at least look at the look at the ground to have an idea of what's coming up ahead. If the waiter was well informed about the environment they were moving through, I imagine that they would know where they were going by heart. Then there'd be no issue. The defendant worked at Sea Paradise for some time now. She likely knows exactly where everything is. Looks like Mark is starting small, just like Tia-san. She's not playing all her cards yet. I better tread carefully. If she's not going to play all her cards, then I don't have to play all of mine. For the time being, I'm going to pretend I don't know that Chica-san replaced Yu-san. Let's see if that gets me anywhere. Okay, what was found? Okay, okay. Here we go. Yep. That's true. Okay. What's saying it wasn't stolen before 10:20 a.m.? The sculpture was dropped off at 10 a.m., so there's a 20-minute interval where someone else could have swiped the sculpture and wouldn't be Yusan's fault, right? Correct. This interval would be before Yu's shift, and at this point, Yu was not responsible for the sculpture. I must point out, it's actually more than like 10 minutes. After all, this photo of the sculpture was taken by at 10:10 a.m. by none other than Yu herself. Ah, that's the photo of the sculpture of Teka Teka Reborn, and it was indeed taken at 10:10 by Yu-san. I think you had left the observation deck interesting those 10 minutes to put the Uchichi costume on. This 10-minute time frame is the only opportunity for someone to have stolen the sculpture and not be used fault. But I haven't found any evidence of such a thing happening. It's a really small time frame. It's a crazy small time frame. Someone swiping the sculpture at that point is unlikely but not impossible. Is it possible that someone took the sculpture right then and there because the post was abandoned? No, basically, Peter's account of things is that she had witnessed the exact moment that you left the post. She found the sculpture to be missing immediately after she saw you wandering off. There was no opportunity for anyone to have taken the sculpture. She also checked the whole observation deck for the potential culprits, but found nothing but that duffel bag. It's the same thing Bijin-san told us yesterday. And there's only one entrance to the observation deck, so there's no way she just missed any potential culprits. Hang on, Bijin-san said this. If you tell us this now, doesn't it count as hearsay? Whoa. Police officer statements are generally one of the exceptions to the rule. As a detective of this case, she has the same privilege. Well, in any case, it's consistent with what we heard from Bijin-san herself. I should probably just accept it. Mario-chan, what do you think? Can you solve this conundrum? I think so. If I'm reading Maki correctly, she's keeping the extent of her knowledge of the case in the dark. In that case, we can do the same thing. Good idea. You have a right to take it slowly from here and reveal what you need to as you go. No matter what I present here, I'm not required to manipulate Chika-san. For now, let's put all thoughts of the switcheroo aside and act like I don't know about it. If I need to bring up something related to Chika-san for this cross-examination, then so be it. I'll let Maki with the I have no clue about Chika-san being the culprit, but if I have to. That means I should pretend that Yu-san was the only one who was supposed to be the don the Uchichi costume for the moment. Pointing our contradictions come first. What if someone grabbed the sculpture and then jumped in the ocean? Huh? Ever thought about that? They'd be dead, you goober. They'd be dead. The observation deck is made for viewing sea lions resting on the rocks below it. Below it, a rocky outcrop is exposed at low tide, where the sea lions sometimes loaf around on. Even at high tide, the rocky outcrop is still not 1 meter under the surface. Anyone who jumps off from such a height will splatter against the rocks. Luckily, nobody got hurt performing this crime. No injuries were reported. Scratch that idea, I guess. Well, okay. Okay, let's push her for some more information. Let's get all the information we can get. I've got a photo here. Is this the sculpture you're talking about? The red-haired mermaid with the trident? Yep, that's the one. Oh, pretty bomber head. Sculpture is usually somewhat heavy, right? You're saying that the defender was able to lug this thing off by herself? I think you could do it. She's pretty strong physically, you know. Wait, why am I happy to say that? That just makes her look more suspicious. Ooh. Physical strength aside, the sculpture was hollow. It'd be lighter than it appears. It's also on the smaller side. For those unaware, the costume is equipped with the eternal steel frame. Leaning the sculpture on the frame would reduce the burden of carrying it. That seems to make sense. And if we assume that someone else stole the sculpture, they'll likely carry it off themselves, right? Okay, things lost me to hold the fish on and then we can present evidence. So nobody knows the exact time the sculpture vanished? That's right, it was on the observation deck, which was closed off to the public. Since you was guarding the entrance, she's the only one who could have known if anyone else accused the deck. Access the deck. Unfortunately, when I talked to her, she had said that she couldn't name anyone. So I don't have any other potential suspects. And I know that you don't point the finger at anyone who doesn't deserve it. Looks like it's up to us to figure this out. Right. What do I present? Is this? Is it this? Do I present the fact that she left? Sure. Nope. Okay, cool. You're wrong, huh? I haven't even shown you the evidence. Sorry, I was joking. What? What? Okay, that's breaking the fourth wall. This game really breaking the fourth wall. Oh man. Yeah, she was leaving. But what do I show to say that she was? What do I show Chica? Oh, great. Don't show Chica in this case, please. Show Chica as first evidence. And son, do you know what happened yesterday? You said that she needed to go to the harbor. I do. I have evidence of that, though, so I couldn't factor it into my account of things. Well, I do have evidence. This is an audio recording of a conversation I had with Takami Chika-san. Ah, so you managed to get someone to confirm his alibi after all. I did, and in it, Chika-san says that Yu-san was not at Sea Paradise between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. Shut up! Ow, my ears bleeding. According to Takami Chika-san, the defendant left Sea Paradise from 11 to 12 to go to the harbor. I have a harbor pass with me here. Despite this, Uchichi was seen at 11 a.m., 11:15 a.m. There's a clear contradiction here. Right, and what do you make of the discrepancy defense? Are you saying that the person in the Uchichi costume cited at 11:15 was a phony? I have to answer that question. There's no need to involve Chika-san in this right just yet. I've got to walk a fine line. I've got to both show that someone replaced Yu-san, but also not show that it was Chika-san. Who knows? I'm not making that claim. I'm simply saying that Yu-san has an alibi. She can't possibly have made off with the sculpture if she wasn't on the scene. If the trial is to continue, it's up to the prosecution to provide further argument. Uh-oh. Okay, it's deep. It's just deep. It's just deep. What's the worst that can happen? I said that the evidence presented by the defense is inadmissible. Inadmissible? If the person at the other end of the phone call knows what the about the defendant's activities, then she must be familiar with the defendant. It would seem easy for her to have lied over the phone while leaving us no way to question her or take an oath. As a result, recorded conversation typically inadmissible, They're basically another form of hearsay. If you've got some concrete evidence to show that a switch had taken place, you better bring it out now. This is bad. We have no lead for anyone who could have taken the sculpture before Yusan's shift, so we've been forced to look at the time that Uchichi left the scene at 11:15. I may have to take some steps towards revealing Chiko-san as the person who took over for Yusan, but I don't have to say that directly. Even if I reveal evidence related to Chiko-san, there's a chance Maki doesn't know about the switch up. I don't have any other choice. I'll have to hope for the best. Alright then, here's my evidence for how I know for sure that someone had replaced Yusan at the time of the crime. Is it the head? Is it head? We found this Uchichi costume head at Sea Paradise. In it we found something interesting. Oh, what did you find? I want to know. Didn't you say you saw the walkthrough? It's this. We found some orange colored hair. Orange? But Yu's hair is grey. Or is it brown? It doesn't matter. It was certainly not this shade of orange. Uh-huh. And how do you know that this hair was left there on the day of the crime? What if it was left there from a previous day? Actually, I can answer that for you. Yesterday, Yusan had said the following to me. Flashback. Oh, sorry about that. Uchichi isn't here right now. He's been injured, so he's currently resting. And I just had the outfit decleaned yesterday too. This sucks. In that case, the greys must have been left there by Yusan before she left Sea Paradise, and the oranges must have been left by someone else afterwards. Such an account falls under present sense expression, I think. No years a year. All of a sudden, it's not making sense, Mari-san. In that case, do you have any answers to who this mystery replacement could possibly be, Defense? Nope, I've got no idea. Well, it's definitely possible that the orange hair could belong to another staff member. I've been noticing an influx of orange-haired women recently. Oh, like me! I'm orange! Ayumu, I think you're more of a pink than an orange. Really? I always thought that I was more of an orange than a pink. Regardless, there's still the issue of the fact that nobody on the staff of Sea Paradise has similar proportion to the defendant. The walrus costume, however, has an eternal steel skeleton. This skeleton is specifically fitted to the defendant's body shape. This means that there couldn't have been anyone replacing the defendant. That's correct. And there was only one Uchichi costume at the aquarium. No, that's not entirely true. There's one potential alternative costume, but there's a catch. Good. Then you explain that to the court. Sure, listen to this. So there was another costume? The alternate costume. So Paradise has recently been trying to develop a second mascot character. Her name is Puchichi. She's basically supposed to be Uchichi's sister or something. Because of that, she's also a walrus. The costume body is complete, so theoretically, the true culprit could have used the Puchichi body with a Uchichi head. The catch is that the name tag on her body clearly says Puchichi, written as that, I'm not gonna read that, instead of Uchichi, written as, okay. Therefore, I don't think they could have used the Puchichi body. Not a single person I've talked to has brought up the name tag, and I don't think they could have misread it. They could have misread it. I paid attention this time, Cannon. Wee, good job, Mari. You win the prize. Yay, give me one of your famous hugs. In your dreams, I'm not hugging you. A second Uchichi suit. I haven't heard of this, but maybe Yusan hadn't considered it. At this moment, the idea that the defendant was away from Sea Paradise at 11:15 a.m. has not been thoroughly substantiated. She is the only one possible of wearing the costume mentioned by the witness, and the only alternative costume available is noticeably different. Therefore, the only costume that could have been used is still the steel frame costume, and the only known person capable of wearing it is the defendant. So like Kanan-san dug deep to find this foothold for us, even though there's a complication with it. I better not waste this chance. Cross-examination. Okay. Alright. First things first, I want to look at the drawing. Court record. Because the drawing Rico gave us, I'm pretty sure it's covering the tag. Maybe he's not carrying something. Maybe he's covering up the tag. That could be what's happening in the picture. They're covering up the tag. Hmm. What if, okay, do I just go Kanho? Do I just go like Kanzi blazing and show the picture? Don't even need to press on anything, I just know. Actually, I think I can explain away the catch. Oh, really? What is it? You know the sketch of Uchichi as he was seen leaving the scene of the crime at 11:15 a.m. Oh, it's Uchichi! In particular, I want everyone to notice the position of his arms. He's clutching his chest. Witnesses believe that this is because he's holding onto the sculpture inside the costume. Or there could be an alternative explanation. It's possible that Uchichi's arms are in the position solely to hide the name tag. Ah, you're right. I hadn't thought of that. Members of the court, there's a very good reason why none of the people interrogated brought up the name tag. It's not because of the costume he used, but because the name tag was obstructed, and there's a chance that the costume used was indeed the Puchichi costume. Shut up! Your Honor, you have your gavel. Please start using that instead. But anyway, this sketch is worth 1,000 words, right? We have no way of determining which body was used here since the name tag is obstructed. This means the possibility that Yusan's shift was covered by another staff member, since the Puchichi costume wouldn't have the steel frame for anyone could wear it. Even though it was apparently Chika-san, I've got to divert the attention though. Good thinking, you. That definitely would explain a lot. Right. That sketch. I hadn't seen it up until now. It was given to us by Riko-san. She drew the space on exactly what she saw at 11:15 a.m. It's clear. This development demands further investigation. Pink. Pink? While you were standing, while you were spending time cross-examining the witness, I decided to do a little bit of research on this Puchichi character. It was a bit hard, but I found some useful information. In particular, I managed to catch a glimpse of the character art for the so-called Puchichi. Puchichi isn't brown, she's bright pink. Bright pink? Oh dear, I guess we didn't look deeply enough into Sea Paradise to find this info out. It's kind of rather obscure information. I'm not surprised that many people miss it. Also, stop calling me Maki-chan. No wonder, no wonder why you son never bothered bringing it up. No one would possibly mistake a bright pink costume with the normal Chichi costume. I hadn't heard anything about Chichi being pink. I guess the person I talked to just forgot to say that part. Well, whatever. My point is missing the name tag is one thing, but it's inconceivable to think they all missed the color of the body as well. As a result, the prosecution maintains that the costume used was the normal one. Therefore, the defendant is the only possible culprit. But suppose that the patrons of Sea Paradise just thought that Chichi was getting a makeover with a pink body. Maybe they just didn't think to question it. Brown hair, pink body, white muzzle. Sounds like Chichi was wearing a Neapolitan ice cream coloration. In any case, this sketch is in black and white. We can't really tell if Chichi's body is actually pink or not. No worries, just call the artist in to testify about the sketch he made. Okay, let's get Rico on the stand. Okay, defense? If it's not Chica-san, it should be okay. It's like I managed to stray away from connecting Chica-san to the crime for this long. Defense has no objections, Your Honor. Great, I'll contact Rico and let her know. This is a small town, so she should be able to get you a pretty quickly. Sit tight, everyone. She shouldn't be long. Oh, why are we doing two of them again? Witness, state your name and... Holy fuzzballs! Monkey-chan, is that you? Oh, hey Rico. So, you're a prosecutor now, huh? Are you still going to be a doctor in the future? Yeah, it's just a side thing. I trust you're still playing the piano. Of course! It's one of my two passions alongside drawing. Actually, I guess I have three passions nowadays. I'm a school idol now, you know. I've heard. Looks like you're doing well for yourself too. I hate to interrupt the reunion, but it's time to do a testimony now. Yeah, what's all this about? Maki gets chummy with people? Yuko-san went to Otonokizaka before, just like Maki-chan does now, right? Yep, I'll bet they were fellow piano nerds back then. Neat, I'm glad they could meet up again. Well, let's not waste any more time, Rico. Can you tell us about this drawing here? That's the drawing of Chichi I did yesterday at Sea Paradise, right? Right. Please tell us about the coloration of the walrus thing where you saw it and what time it was. Of course, right away. Okay, there's two of them, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to do some little bit of excuse me. At 11:15, I was wandering mindlessly through the aquarium in a trance, browsing and drawing whatever creatures I saw. That's when I saw a fully brown Uchichi, which snapped me out of the trance. I think this was in the marine invertebrate section. Uchichi was clutching at his chest and walking clumsily just like in the picture I drew. I thought that was a bit weird, so I followed him until we ended up back at the entrance. So the Uchichi was brown, which means you is guilty? That's what I saw. I don't know anything else about this legal mumbo jumbo. Good enough for me. Marius Funhouse officially finds defendant Watanabe you. Wait, no! I need to get a chance to cross-examine the witness first. No, right. You do that. Jeez, Marijan's going to be the death of me. I refuse to refer to this courtroom as Mari's Funhouse. Feels like a circus for this courtroom. Okay, so there's two of them, which means I got a place and I gotta excuse me at some point. You followed Uchichi until you ended up back at the entrance, and then what? After that, I couldn't see Uchichi anymore. I suppose I lost track of him. You lost track of a giant brown limping walrus? Sure did. He just sort of vanished. The employee area is near the invertebrate section. It's likely that's where Uchichi was headed. The prospect of that the walrus simply exited Sea Paradise is also unlikely. The entrance is guarded at all times, and there were no reports of Uchichi leaving the aquarium at the time of the incident. This seems a bit off, but I'm not sure if I have any evidence against this right now. Yeah, thank you. Gotta find two things apparently. I don't present everything, but I get all the information before I say it. Oh, come on, really? I thought I was pressing, okay. You play the piano in your spare time. I didn't expect you to be an aquarium fan, Nico. Unfortunately, I was in an art block. I went to see Paradise to try to get some inspiration. Oh, yikes, been there, done that. Wait, huh? Is it my turn to cross-examine the witness? What's with you? I'm trying to have a conversation here. Pipe down, will you? I guess I won't get a chance to pursue this one if Karen suddenly acts. Also, my piano had a broken string and wasn't fixed until last night. Oh my god, I don't even want to think about that happening. I'm getting secondhand cringe just from hearing it. Right? Simply the worst. See, this is why I have an electronic keyboard instead. That stuff just doesn't happen to me. How did you even break one of those things anyway? Did you punch the key too hard? Well, I put books inside the piano. I have a standing piano, see? Why the heck would you do that? Don't you have a bookshelf? Well, my mother wanted to vacuum my room and I panicked. I needed to hide the books, and the only place I could think of was inside of the piano. What the heck? What kind of books are we talking about here? None of your business. They're secret books, okay? What's with you? I don't get it. No, that was completely unproductive. Was he brown? When you say trance, you mean the zones, right? The meditative state you were talking about yesterday? That's right. When I'm in the zone, I basically do all my drawings subconsciously. Unfortunately, I don't pay attention to my surroundings, so I have a hard time remembering where I was. Based on what I put together afterwards, though, I think I was in the invertebrate section at the time. I guess that's that. I just wish she had paid a bit more attention to what she was doing. Your drawing shows that the name tag on Uchichi's chest was covered up. Is this accurate? Indeed, I only saw the front of Uchichi for a short moment, but I'm all but certain that the name tag was covered. Like I said though, the body of Uchichi was brown, as was the head. The witness statements support the notion of that the costume used was the brown walrus-themed costume, and not the pink one. I must reiterate that the defendant in this is the only one able to wear the brown costume. The rest speaks for itself. I don't think there is anything out of place here. Okay, what do I think? Okay. So the thing went to the employees' rooms, right? So if I look at the map, where's the map? There's the map. Okay. So, if you saw in the first section, the only way to get in there would be from going from either the marine mammals or bird section or from the main entrance, but logically, if you're by the main entrance, wouldn't you just go straight to the employee area? So, you'd probably go observation deck to the marine mammals and bird section, then to the marine invertebrate section. But there's an alarm, the thing would have gone off. Okay, cool, I'm on something. But that means, okay, if the thing didn't go off, that means they didn't have the steel beam in it because that's magnetic, right? It's ferromagnetic, whatever it says. Witness, your story has a very noticeable contradiction. A contradiction? Oh no, you're mistaken. I'm not lying about anything. It's not you. I don't think you're lying, but something's definitely adding up. If Uchichi headed through the invertebrate section, then he also must have headed through the security screeners. That's right. Those naughty things were in the invertebrate section, if I remember correctly. The thing is, a contradiction becomes a pattern when you pair it with the the steel stuff. There are two pieces of evidence of interest. We've got the security screener in the invertebrate section and the brown Uchichi costume with the metal frame. Yep, where's the contradiction? Well, the screener is faulty, you see. It's being incorrectly reacting to anything metal with an extremely loud racket. Oh, you're right. In that case, that means... That's right. If Uchichi had walked through the invertebrate section, the security screeners would have been set off. And yet, Riko-san never mentioned hearing anything of the sort. Look! I used the hammer thingy this time. That doesn't prove anything, though it might just not have noticed the trance she said she was in. And yet, the witness just said that she snapped out of the trance as soon as she saw Chi-Chi. I highly doubt the witness simply forgot to mention the security screen going off. That's not just something you miss. No, you're right. There was no beeping from the screeners at the time. No beeping? But how could that be? Unless the couple was using some other outfit. Perhaps the witness actually traveled through the vertebrae section. There were two paths after all. I have to point out, yesterday, when we had asked her where she was through the scene, she said she couldn't remember. However, today she says she thinks that she had traveled through the invertebrate section. Clearly she reflected on something and pieced together the information later. That's correct. I tried to remember what I was looking at right before Chichi came in. It was a very difficult task though. The answers are blur and just out of reach, so I might still be wrong. Witness, testify for us again. Try your absolute hardest to remember the full path you really took. Alright, I'll try my best. The more we drag this on, the fewer options I have. I hope we can figure this out soon. Please. Here I was. When I'm in the zone, I don't really have a sense of direction, so I'm not 100% sure where I was. But still, I'm pretty sure I was in the invertebrate section. At least, based on what I remember. Regardless of what happened, I didn't hear any alarm go off at the time. In any case, I followed Chichi until he turned a corner into the employee area. That's why I lost sight of him. After that, I figured there was nothing more to that, so I just went back to wandering. Oh, so many testimonies today in Mari's funhouse. The witness maintains that she was in the invertebrate section, yet no alarm was heard. Doesn't this support the notion that the costume body used was a different one? And yet, the witness has also clearly stated that the body was brown, when the only other available body was bright pink. There must be some explanation for this. Perhaps the faulty screener had a moment of competence and somebody didn't go off when the metal walrus entered the section. I've got to figure this out. Let's hope that this cross-examination sheds some new light on the situation. Please. Where were we? Okay. What do you remember? What do you remember? What did you remember exactly? Yesterday you told us that you didn't know. Well, after I went home yesterday, I knew I would be called in as a witness, so I tried my best to remember what I last saw before I saw Chi-Chi. If I'm correct, the last thing I was looking at was some sort of worm. Oh, someone's thinking. Karen-san, did you have anything to add to that? It's just that, well, there are tons of sea creatures that look like worms, you know, and not all of them are invertebrates. I was just thinking, maybe Riko here can draw what she thought she saw. I could narrow down that kind of creature, what kind of creature it might be. That could be a good idea actually. How about Riko? Could you draw what you saw to the best of your memory? Oh, sure, 1 second. For exactly which tank it was in. So I don't remember what the tank looks like. I'll just draw a generic background. The creature itself, though, I remember it decently clearly. Just give me a moment. Okay. There you go. It's a worm. There you go. There we go. Finished. That's the creature you saw yesterday? It's a worm. What is this? Looks like a worm to me. You think so? I haven't seen a worm like this before. It's white and has black stripes. Or maybe it's black and has white stripes. Either way, it's a strange looking worm. Ah, I think I know what this is. I don't think this is a worm at all. Really, Kanan-chan? What do you make of this? Well, my first thought is that this thing is a sea snake. But sea snakes are usually highly venomous, and I don't think we have any at Sea Paradise because they're pretty hard to keep. In reality, I'm going to bet that this is a panda snake eel, which looks nearly identical to a sea snake. We do have some of those at the aquarium. A snake and an eel? What happened to they happen to look almost the same? How did that end up happening? It's an evolutionary advantage. By making the venomous sea snake, the eel can scare off predators without having to spend resources producing venom itself. A creature disguising itself as another creature, huh? In any case, both snakes and eels are invertebrates. I think it's safe to say that you were actually in the vertebrate section, Rico. Good enough for me. I guess that's what must really have happened. Cool, we got another picture. This goes against our case. So now it's possible for Uchichi to have gone an alternative route, and there'd be no problem with the screener. Rico, please update your testimony. Sure thing, Maki-chan. Great, let's find evidence. So Kanan-san said you were actually looking at a snake or an eel. That seems right to you? Seems right to me. I only caught a glimpse of it for a second, but that does make a lot of sense. Eels and snakes have bones, right? So I must have been in the vertebrate section. I don't know much about snakes or eels, but I think Kanan-san says that they're bony. Then I guess I can't argue with it. Regardless of what happened, I didn't hear any alarm go off at the time. In any case, I followed Uchichi until he turned a corner into the employee area. That's why I lost sight of him. After that, I figured there was nothing more to that, so I just went back to wandering. So that's why the screen didn't go off, because I had actually gone through the vertebrate section. Still, sharing a story like this could bring up a new contradictions. You better pair that statement with the other statements and see if there's any issues that rise. And he was right. I have to be on my toes. Does this new information contextualize any other statements in the testimony? Okay. I've time to look at the map again. Turn a corner. So, if you're in the vertebrates, you don't turn corners, you go straight. Turn the corner? How far behind Uchichi were you following? Maybe about 2 or 3 meters. I didn't want to go too close, but I didn't want to lose track either. I suppose that Uchichi turned the corner immediately after he exited. When I exited after him, I wouldn't be able to know where he went. I think that adds up depending on how quickly it happened. I don't think that adds up because if you're following him, there's no corners to turn. He goes into the main. I don't think that follows. Yep, okay, cool. That doesn't make sense. So, witness, you claim to have seen Uchichi heading through the vertebrate section, right? That's right. If the Uchichi costume really did have the metal frame in it, then going through the vertebrate section would make sense since I never heard the screener go off. But you also said that Uchichi had turned a corner, and that's how you lost track of him, is that correct? I think so. The employees area was right around the exit, right? That's correct, but only if you had exited the invertebrates area. Eh? Whatever do you mean? Witness, please take a look at the map of Sea Paradise. Notice the relative position of the employee area compared to the vertebrate section. No wait, the employee area is... Your eyes don't deceive you. If you leave the vertebrate section, there are a total of 0 corners to turn. Hehehe, hitting the sound block is actually kind of fun. Members of the court, it's very clear that something doesn't add up here. You mean members of Mari's funhouse, right? Yeah, sure, but as I was saying, as you can all see, it's a straight shot from the vertebrate section to the employee area, and there's no way that Rico-san could miss a huge walrus mascot lumbering about. Right, it's impossible that I could have just overlooked Uchichi if he was just heading in a straight line to the employee area. What's going on? There weren't that many people at the entrance at the time. There was no crowd for him to get lost in, and it's not like I was just fell too far behind. Almost as if he vanished off the face of the earth. Something's definitely wrong here. There must be an explanation for this discrepancy. We must continue searching for evidence if we are to find the answer to this contradiction. Okay. There is one situation that doesn't require us to stop the trial. Really, even slamming the desk? Say it with me. Slamming the desk is for the help. Yeah, I get it. I don't want Mari's funhouse to end just yet, so what are you thinking, prosecutor? The question was answered right now are, where did the Wallace thing go, and what path did it take? And there's one person who can answer this for sure. And that is, of course, the person who was wearing the costume at the time. The costume bearer? You know who it was? Yeah, I think I figured it out. No way, I should have known she would piece this information together herself. It started with the orange hair found in the headpiece of the Wallace thing. Naturally, I discovered the evidence from speaking to the detective. Fortunately for me, it seemed the defense was the one who pointed those hairs out to her. Bravo, defense. I shall applaud you. Oh no, that was me who showed Karen-san the orange hairs, wasn't it? I was precluded from making assumptions about who it belonged to, as I could not prove that the hair was left there at the time of the crime. However, as the defense has helpfully shown today, the orange hairs found inside the mascot head did indeed come from the true culprit. That much is certain. I didn't have a choice. Market engineered the situation when I was forced to point that out. Did she plan this from the beginning? The director of Sea Paradise had told me that she hadn't selected anyone to take the defendant's place, assuming she did have to leave the aquarium. This means the defendant must have found her replacement herself. It was the anticipation of situations such as this that I ordered the records of every single person in this entire city. You did what? Oh dear, Maki-chan really does have money to blow, huh? So we're looking for someone who is 157 centimeters tall, with measurements close to 82, 57, 81, and with orange hair. But tell me only one person in the world that matches it in this place. And thus, our possible culprits get narrowed down to only one, Takami Chika. It was Chika's fault? So you is innocent, right? That would be the case if Chika worked at Sea Paradise. However, because she doesn't, you must have invited her to cover for her. This means a transfer of responsibility took place. Due to this, if Chika is guilty of the crime, then you is as well. It's clear what must be done. We must get Chika in here to testify about what happened. Once it becomes clear that she took the sculpture, then the verdict will be unavoidably guilty. She's been waiting for this moment from the beginning, wasn't she? I do the thinking and talking, but let's have to ask her for the help. What the? What? And you, my friend, have just really become my help. Shut up! I guess no avoiding it now. We're going to have to cross them with Chica-san. Kanan, do you think you can contact Chica and have her join us? Yeah, sure. In fact, I'll give her number to Maki so she can talk to her firsthand. That would let things run a bit more smoothly. I'll give her a call once you hand me the number. Now that's that. Mari's Funhouse, sponsored by Sea Paradise, will return after 30 minutes. That's just great. June 26, 11:32 a.m. Defendant lobby. Looks like it was unavoidable after all, huh? Sorry, Yusan. I tried my best to figure out as much as I could without bringing Chika-san up. Don't worry about that. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Maki had a hunch it was Chika-chan from the very beginning. I'm inclined to agree, but if Maki-chan knew Chika-san replaced Yusan from the start of the trial, why did she never bring things up until the end? I think I know why. I think she might have known about the transfer of responsibility. However, she probably wanted to get Yusan convicted of the crime directly. That's more serious than if Chika-san did it. You think so? Maki-san wanted to make Yusan look as bad as possible? Yes, but not out of any sort of malice. That's just the prosecution's job. Just like how the defender's job is to kill the offender of as many crimes as possible. Right. Though we still don't know if she knew from the beginning or just figured it out in those last few moments. In any case, it doesn't make a difference either way now. We'll have to press on in spite of this development. Well, Mark is done with her phone call. Shika-chan is on her way here. Joey just tell the truth and understand without any ambiguity, which means you'll have to piece together any other potential culprits, if they exist. Yeah, if they exist. How are we going to get out of this? Kanan-san didn't find any potential leads, so what chance do we have? Oh no. Okay. Okay. Great. That's just great. Okay. Well, I'm gonna end the video off here. There's gonna be another trial again in the next video. Hopefully we can find the truth. Hopefully I can get down to this, which I don't think I will. I think I gotta play the stalling game. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna see you all in the next video. Goodbye.